Hello, it's Keith here. Well, my YouTube channel has reached 3,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. When I started creating this channel, I never imagined I'd get any views at all. So to think that 3,000 people are willing to listen to any of the stuff I have to say is quite beyond belief, to be honest. I really want to say thank you to everyone who's been watching my content. If you've been enjoying it, finding it interesting, learning new stuff, I've get some comments from people who are trying things out, and I say I'm really amazed that people are finding my content so helpful, and it's apparently encouraging them to try programming for the first time. So that's really very touching and really makes all of the work I've been putting in worthwhile, and I assure you I'm planning on putting a lot more work in. So I thought for a bit of fun we'd have a look at the YouTube channel, how the last year's gone, and just discuss what's coming next and a few other things as well. So let's go over to the web browser and we'll see what's been going on. Okay, so here's my web browser here, and you can see we're just over the 3,000 subscriber count, which, as I say, it's absolutely amazing. Really never believed I'd get this many. Let's have a look at the analytics, and let's have a look at the last year and see how things have been going. So the year has been absolutely staggering. I mean, what you can't see from this view, maybe if we go to all time, you can. Here you go. So basically this is this Z80 series starting. This is my early days when I just started the channel and when I was working on ChibiAkumas. So the Z80 brought it up to here, and then you see this big boost when I started the 6502 and 68000 series, and so all of the really big growth was in the last year. I gained over 2,000 subs last year, which is unbelievable, absolutely amazing. So yeah, thanks everyone who's subscribed and who watches the videos. So you can see actually for a large period of time here, the views were relatively constant. Now, unfortunately, there was a bit of a dip around May-June time, and I think that's it might be a seasonal thing. I'm not particularly aware it was anything to do with the videos I was releasing. If it was, please tell me, but I'm not aware that they were lower quality and I was doing the same kind of promotion for them. But for whatever reason, it dropped a bit, and I think that might be a seasonal thing, that maybe YouTube isn't as popular through those months. But anyway, it did start to pick up again, and then you can see that there was a huge boost here, and this was the X16 series. That was really really popular, really beyond what I expected. I never imagined it would be that popular. If you're following me for the X16 content, I do plan on releasing a lot more. What I'm currently doing is I've basically done all of the sort of simple stuff that immediately enticed me to the system. I'm waiting for the firmware to settle down a bit, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to remake all of the current content for the new firmware, rewriting all the documentation and doing new tutorials for it, and then I will make new content relating to the hardware, like maybe the sound hardware and the joystick and things as is required. But at the moment, with the firmware still changing, the tutorials I wrote before aren't quite right anymore, and I want to focus on systems that aren't changing anymore. So as I say, please stick around for the X16 content. More will come, and as soon as that firmware has become basically fixed, I will be churning it out as fast as I can, because it's very popular, and I will try and do what people like. So as I say, there's definitely more coming there. The same for the Spectrum Next, incidentally. There's some changes to the firmware there, and the emulator I was using wasn't supporting things like the 4-bit per pixel sprites. So as I say, more next Spectrum Next content will come, but again, once the firmware is no longer changing. So that's why there was a big boost there. That was mostly the X16 and also a little bit the Next. And then it dropped down to here. Now the interesting thing is that after the popularity of the X16 series, the 6502 tutorials that have been there for the whole of the year suddenly really bumped up in popularity, almost doubled in popularity. And so you can see here that there's this sort of pitch here. So very popular there. And then over the Christmas period, I had a backlog of videos I'd made, so I started churning those out every day, and that increased the popularity of the channel a bit over Christmas, just because of the sheer volume of videos I was pumping out. Also, I did a post saying, oh, well, hey, why not learn assembly over Christmas holidays and do a New Year's resolution? And that blew up. I got like 60 retweets, which is more than I've ever had for anything in the past, except for one silly joke I made about how much complaints and arguments the processors had caused in the 80s, and that got loads of retweets, but it didn't promote my website. So I was a bit frustrated by getting the retweets in that case, but anyway, it's all good. So as I say, really popular tweet over Christmas as well, and that you can see that in the subscriber count. This massive spike here is that one retweet alone, and this is here is the X16 again. But I mean, you can see basically I'm getting roughly average five subscribers a day. Sometimes I get 15, sometimes I get 2. It does vary, but it's been great, really been great. My annual revenue from the YouTube isn't great, $36. I've never pulled it out. It's not linked to my bank account because it's not an amount I can do that with. I've got some Patreon to back me very kindly. Now, I want to point out, you're totally welcome to not back me on Patreon. The money I get from the Patreon, I'm trying to invest in other things like buying better hardware and things like doing the competitions. I'm trying to do 3 monthly little assembly programming competitions for beginners. We'll get into that later, and I'm using that money to sort of back those kind of prizes. But I'm not expecting to make money on this ever. This is a hobby. I want it to be a hobby. I don't want it to be like some money earning thing, because I want to do it because I enjoy it, not because I have to. So as I say, if you want to back me on Patreon, I really appreciate it, and I'll put the money to good use. But I don't want you to think that that's anything kind of requirement. That's just if that's how you want to show appreciation. I totally appreciate everyone who just watches the videos. That's really more than I have any right to ask for anyway. So as I say, I made around $1,000 on Patreon last year, and I'll tell you what I did with that in a moment. But I made only $36 on YouTube, so that's how it works basically these days. YouTube isn't worth the money. It's Patreon where if you're going to make any money, it's that kind of donation that's going to keep a small channel alive, and even a big channel nowadays, I think. So yeah, as I say, subscribers growth decent all year, boosted up with the X16, odd spike here and there. Finances completely useless. I think these spikes are probably viewers maybe who are clicking on a lot of, maybe if a few people click on links all of a sudden, or maybe if they're using that YouTube Red, I think it's called, where they're a paying subscriber. But basically you'll see a few days of like 5 cents, and then you'll see a day that gets $1.50, and you're like, well, what the hell happened there? So it's got to be something very erratic, but it's totally unreliable. And even with the good days, it's so little money, you can't even justify spending the time setting up the withdrawals. So unless my channel got 100,000 times more views, it'd be like, wow, it's just a token gesture really. So you can see watch time and views are roughly about the same. It's all fairly consistent. Yeah, a lot of the viewers who view my content only watch about a quarter of the videos, so most of them probably won't see this section of this one, but that's just the way it goes on YouTube. I'm as guilty as that as anyone, so I'm certainly not complaining about that. 723 views in the last 48 hours, that's very good. I mean, honestly, 600 it was good for most of the last year. It dropped down to 300 in May at one point, which was quite a shock. But as I say, at the moment, very good views. I'm currently releasing a video every 2 days, if you see my videos here. So you can see there's a few unlisted videos here. These are all coming out public in a week or two. I make my videos 3 at a weekend at the moment on a Saturday, because I can get all the lights set up and do that and other things on the same day. And then I release them over time. And so there's usually a few weeks of backlog just in case I'm sick, in case a tutorial takes longer than expected. You know, you need a backlog so you can pace things, keep a constant stream coming out on YouTube, but everything will be coming out in time. And you can see I've got lots of videos here, and they're coming out at the moment 1 every 2 days, because that I can make about 3 a week at the moment. So that's my current release schedule. I don't think there's really anything else much worth seeing on here, so let's have a quick discussion of a few other things. Well, what's coming over the next 12 months? Well, the ARM series is currently ongoing. There's going to be 5 tutorials in that series. The 8086 tutorials are ongoing. There's going to be 7 tutorials in that series. Once those are out of the way, I'm going to be doing a RISC-V series. There's going to be 3 tutorials in that, a little bit smaller, but I could get the content I wanted to cover in a small series, and it's a packed series, but it's small, so that's what I wanted to do. And also, we're going to be doing a bit of an old school one, a PDP-11. I find that quite curious, and we're going to be doing a total of, I think that's 5 tutorials. I'm kind of forgetting. I think it's 5. And so we'll be doing those. And then hopefully we'll be moving on to doing some actual machines that use that. The UKNC for the PDP-11, which is a strange Russian computer, which a patron of mine has kindly given me some great information on. So I'm going to be able to cover that. We're going to be doing the Game Boy Advance on the ARM. We're going to be doing a bit of RISC OS on the ARM. We're going to be doing MS-DOS on the 8086, and we're going to be doing the Wonders one on the 80186, because it's an 80186 compatible. So that should be quite fun. So we'll be doing those, and I've also got other processes I'm planning either for late next year or early the following year. It depends scheduling, because I'm constantly trying to keep this 3 videos per week out. So if I'm spending all of my time writing tutorials, I can't start learning stuff for the new tutorials. But I've got work in progress on a 6809 series, on a TMS 9900 series, which is the TI 994A, and the 65816. And I'm hopefully also going to cover the Phoenix 256, which is another of these modern remake machines, just as soon as the emulator is at a state where I can get my code working on it. I was having a little bit of trouble earlier, and as I say, at the moment I'm just having to, because I'm trying to produce as much content as I can, I'm having to wait until the systems are pretty stable before I start focusing my time on them, so that I'm not spending time that doesn't produce tutorials. So as I say, Phoenix 256, X16, Spectrum Next, all going to have more tutorials coming later on. Now, as well as that, I'm not going to be cutting back on my others. I will be reducing the rate of release because, as I say, 3 videos a week is my limit. So if there's 1 video a week of ARM, there will only be 2 of other series. But as I say, they're going to keep coming out. I've got lots of 68000 and 6502 tutorials already waiting to be recorded, so they'll be coming out in time. I'm currently focusing on making some new Z80 tutorials because there's not been some for a little while I've been focusing on 6502 and 68000, but there's more ARM ones being written now, and I'm starting releasing those, and that should be a lot of fun. As well as that, and this comes into my other thing. Now, maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't, but I have a second channel now known as ChibiAkumas Live, and this is primarily a live streaming channel. It's a bit more off the cuff, not pre-planned tutorials. It's a bit more jokey and a bit more crazy a little bit, but I'm doing a 5 a.m. stream, 5 a.m. Japan time, where I do programming very early morning when I'm half asleep, and I'm writing a new little program on that, which is currently known as YQuest, and that is a remake of a game called XQuest I used to play, and that's going to be basically my Grime Z80 series. I'm currently writing it on the Amstrad CPC, but assuming I get it working in a playable state, I will port it to all of the other systems in the Z80 series, and then I will create a tutorial series explaining how it works. Basically, it's an extension of the Simple Bitmap series, and that's going to show you a little idea of how you could turn the Simple Bitmap joystick reading routine into a basic game that a beginner could plausibly write and have some fun with. So that's going to be coming to the Z80, and hopefully I will then be able to port that to the other systems. So that's what I will be doing there. That's what the 5 a.m. stream is currently about. I mean, basically, if you want to join into that, please check the YouTube channel for your correct time zone information, but it's 5 a.m. Japan time, and I do about 2 hours of programming a week on this 8086, but sometimes we do other systems as well. On a Saturday, that's late afternoon Japan time, but again, please check your time zones accordingly. I do some gaming on real hardware and have a bit of a chat and maybe a bit of a mess around. Now, I was up until recently working on a very cheap laptop, and the quality of the streams wasn't as good. The framework was a bit low, and there were some other problems. But thanks to the money that the patrons have kindly donated to me, I've been able to upgrade my main machine. And the machine I'm now working on, which I'm going to be doing all my future videos on, is a brand new i9 with an 8-core 16-thread processor. And that's going to allow me to do better videos, better recording, record them faster and things. And the live streams are going to become a lot more visually enhanced. Now, you can probably see on the screen the ChibiAkumas Live channel currently only has 139 subscribers, which is absolutely fine. But if you want to see that kind of content, please drop a subscribe and see if it's to your liking. I'm currently building up the channel and just sort of getting my confidence, shall we say, with the format, because doing a pre-recorded video like this is very different to doing a live video with chat and with game systems that may crash on you and things. So as I say, I'm still getting used to it and getting comfortable with it, but I have a lot more plans coming for that. I'm writing some special software to do some effects for me and things. So as I say, if you want to see what's going to be happening there, then please drop a subscription to that, and please stick around, and maybe you'll see something quite amusing. Maybe you won't. I can't promise anything. Anyway, apart from ChibiAkumas Live, that I do have other things that I'm working on the horizon. Of course, I have my Discord now, if you're familiar with that. So if you log into Discord, you will see I now have some channels, and you can just, there's a general channel. You can just discuss generally anything really, but retro or programming or something of that nature would be nice. And then if you're into assembly, I have an assembly only chat room for people who want to discuss programming and a bit of stuff that's a bit more serious. But as I say, that general chat room, if you just want to come in and have a laugh, then that's totally fine on that room. So yeah, drop in and just do whatever you want. So have fun there. Now back to the more serious assembly programming, as well as the Discord, which is for just real-time sort of chewing the cud, so to speak. If you want to ask questions or give advice or give suggestions or comments on the tutorials themselves, I have a programming forum, the ChibiAkumas ASM programming forum, which you can see just here. Of course, it's free to subscribe, anyone's welcome to join. So if you want to chat in a sort of more messaging rather than the interactive Discord, then please go on there. And as again with the patrons who are backing me, I'm able to currently offer some small competitions, and there is a competition running on at the moment. If you've written an assembly program, or if you've modified someone else's assembly program, all you need to do is go to show and tell, show it off, tell us what assembly programming you did, and show the thing. It doesn't have to be finished, it doesn't have to be released, you can just show some screenshots and just tell us about it. But if you do that, then you're in with the chance of winning a mini arcade machine. I reviewed some mini arcade machines, these little handhelds. I should have planned this better. Here is one. So one of these and a smaller one will be given away in 2 months' time, and I'll be shipping them completely free, so it will not cost you a penny to win one. So the only excuse you've got for not entering is that you can't be bothered to try programming, because all you need to do if you wanted to try and win is just download a few of my samples, have a go at getting something of your own, draw a few sprites, change a bit of the code, and as I say, just show off what you're trying to do. It doesn't have to be finished, and it's not a competition based on who's the best. It's selected random from the people who tried. It's just to encourage everyone to have a little bit of a go and offer a little bit of an incentive for you to have some fun with the assembly programming. But of course, if that's not your thing, then no pressure at all. I just want everyone to have some fun and offer a little incentive there to have a go. But anyway, that's all I've got to tell you about today. I'm constantly working as hard as I possibly can, writing new tutorials, writing the content for the website, and recording the videos, of course. I'm recording 3 videos on a Saturday, and then I'm spending the evening live streaming, so video recording is now almost my entire Saturday, and that's absolutely perfect. So as I say, I'm working as hard as I can. I'm going to produce as much content as I can, both for current systems and for new systems. I really appreciate everyone who's subscribed and who's following me along and watching the videos. Everyone have a great time. I hope you enjoy assembly, I hope you enjoy programming, and I hope you enjoy these retro computers if programming is not your thing and you're just following on for curiosity. Anyway, whatever you do, take care now. Thanks for watching today, and goodbye.